What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to be replacing this inverter we have behind me. There it is right there. Basically, we were on a trip recently, and on the way back from Tennessee, my wife, I was driving, she calls, she says, "Hey, I don't think the refrigerator is working." And really, the only thing we're running on this inverter is refrigerator and in-wall plugs for running down the road. That's really, we have the over-the-road AC, and we just kind of chose for mainly an economical option just to use this 3,500 watt inverter to do the inside kind of light lifting. So eventually I would like to get an inverter that will run the mini split, but having to have split phase and just bigger battery bank, etc., that's just kind of out. It was out of the budget for the moment. So we went the cheaper route. This is where we are. And on the way back from Tennessee, the inverter stopped putting out AC power. And to VEVOR's credit, I was a little worried about, warranty or whatever. And I will say, after back and forth for almost a week, we did get a replacement inverter, as you saw a minute ago on the video. So we're going to go ahead and install that, and I'm just going to go through the how-to on that. So, but first I got to clean my mess up. Eek. All right, so the way I have this wired, this panel, when an inverter is active, it is being fed by a sub panel, and I'll show that in just a second, that is basically acting as a manual transfer switch. So whenever we're connected to shore power, we flip the 50 amp and then turn it off, and then when we need the inverter power, we're connecting the 30 amp plug, and it's basically feeding this panel. It's only going to feed one side of this panel, where I've got, if you see everything labeled, refrigerator, and you basically just on the inside, you just make sure that you get one side of the panel hot. So this is the 30 amp plug or wire going over to feeding the sub panel, which feeds this. So we're going to need to disconnect this first. First off, actually, we're going to make sure that it is not hot, that there's no, everything's turned off as it should be over there on the sub panel. And then we're going to basically, all we're going to do is disconnect this. This is hot wires coming, like I said, going to the panel. But this is how you would connect the AC power. And I do want to get, I know the audio is going to be a little different because of front-facing camera and so on and so forth, but I do want to show that because right now, let me just show y'all what happens whenever I turn this thing on. Right now it's showing no watts, no output, right? 12.9 on the volts for the battery, but it is not showing any output. And even whether this is actually active or not, she's dead in the water, right? I'll show you the difference here in a minute whenever I actually get the thing fired up. But one thing that was very, in researching, kind of ambiguous, if you will, is actually pulling AC lines into, from the inverter. That's how you do it right there. Let me just zoom in just a little bit. VEVOR's website, even the manual, little janky on that. So that is how you do it. So yeah, let me show you the sub panel, and then I'll show you the battery side, and then we'll get this thing swapped out real quick. So this is our manual transfer switch. As you can see, the power cable comes in from the 50 amp and feeds this panel. And then what also feeds this panel is that orange 30 amp 10 aught, 10 gauge, whatever, coming from the inverter. Both of these are ends going out that wire to my main panel. So all I've done is create a manual transfer switch. And so whenever I need to, I've got shore power, I turn this on. When I disconnect shore power, I turn off all my breakers. It's just the way I do it. Turn off my breaker, and then I turn this other one on to provide the panel, half the panel as I stated earlier, with inverter power. So there's that. So I have two 100 amp hour batteries wired in parallel. So you got 12 volts coming in. And as you saw on the other side with the LCD screen, we are running, 12.9. Batteries are keeping up. We haven't had any issues with the batteries. And all we're going to do is pop these little covers off here for the battery terminals. Sorry for the wobbly video. And disconnect them and disconnect the AC power. I've got this screwed in. Need a screw right there. Got it screwed in anyway, so we're going to replace this and see what happens. Now for the moment of truth. I'm going to kill the 50 amp. Turn on my inverter feed. Now for the moment of truth. Now notice, see how that all of a sudden lights up 123 volt, all that. You see, that side wasn't working before. So instead of going inside and checking the big fridge, let's just check the mini fridge. See if it, oh, you know what? Turn the breaker on. And she hit a fridge up and down. Up, up, up. It's working. Can't really hear it. It's kind of dirty in there. We don't use that one very often. But let's see what that's pulling. It's pulling nothing. All right, let's go inside and see if the the other fridge is working. I'll turn you around here. Oh, see the light? Other fridge is working. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. So quick breakdown of the electrical. We have 12 volt, 110, and then the mini split is 240. So anyway, yeah, that's what's going on. And the inverter is happy now. Let's go see what the inverter is actually putting out now. Real quick, like, I'm hurrying, I promise. Oh, so both fridges are working and they're drawing 194 watts. That's actually like nothing. So I'm gonna put it back on 50 amp power because we're plugged into the house. And yeah, let's roll.